Welcome, Giggly Witches, and welcome
Welcome!
to episode 31. Woo!
Woo!
Today, we're going to talk about Valentine's Day.
I'm so proud of my Gen Z heart. I'm really
Yeah.
killing it right now. I wasn't a minute ago. I was going like this. Valentine's Day! Love
Love
magic!
magic. Yay! Oh my gosh.
Woo!
But first, silly
Silly
goofy
goofy
time.
time. Ooh, ooh!
Um,
I have to, before, stop everything
okay.
because I have to tell everybody just before this, I had a session with Pam where it was mediumship and tarot. And she gave me the craziest spiritual bath that I'm gonna give you background, but I'm calling it my spiritual sink bath because that was the visual I got. But she did this like energy cleanse, and I was feeling so terrible because we'll get to that later. But I was feeling really terrible and awful and traumatized, and I feel like a brand new bitch, and I'm ready to record. I was like, I'm not gonna be fun today. I'm so traumatized. And I feel like brand new. So I just want to share when you see, well, I mean, you have practice ones up available for everyone now?
I did practice ones for the cuties in the Lunar League in my newsletter. And then I was supposed to post about it on Friday, but I was out of town and I was like, why would I do this today? Why would I do that to myself today?
Fair enough.
So I was gonna do it sometime this week. Still had to plan it out, but
Okay, well,
by this time this episode comes
it's
out,
probably available for you to
yes.
get a really great deal on one of her developing mediumship sessions.
Yeah.
And I have to say, I'm so impressed because as someone who I don't do mediumship anymore, but I did psychic mediumship for about a year and a half professionally. And I still do psychic readings. They're a little bit different, but Pam connected to my mom in spirit. And I just have to say, because it is actually more difficult to do evidential mediumship with somebody you know and that you've heard stories about that loved one, because the whole, the thing is just you're trying to one, provide evidence that you are indeed connected. So you're providing some information maybe about how they passed or about something specific in the relationship so that you're more or less like I don't like the word proving, but you're just
Yeah.
you're validating that like this is a real connection because then once you go into messages, of course they're gonna say they're always with you. Of course they're gonna
Yeah.
say they love you so
They
much,
love
right?
you.
So it validates those messages, and Pam provided such specific details about my mom that I never ever have talked to her about or I mean, really talk to anybody about because I don't know why I would. It was just very specific to like my mom's final days, and it was very, very impressive. And then the messages, then the two were just extra special because it was clear that she was really connected to my mom and her energy, even though she had already known so much about my mom, she was still able to like pick up those little details. So Pam is very good at this, and I definitely
Thank you.
suggest you get in there now while she's in her like developing stage, and these sessions are like such a great deal. And then yeah, and then I told Pam she needs to do the energy cleansings as like a separate offering because I'm like, I'm gonna be put me on subscription mode, girl. That was amazing. It felt so physical, but I was joking because when I was a little kid, my favorite thing was to get a bath in the sink. And it was sweet because we had just connected to my mom, and my mom would use a cup and like fill up the cup with the warm water and pour it over my head. And when Pam started doing when Pam started doing the energy cleanse, that's what the visual I got was just these big hands pouring like water, cups of water over my head, very lovingly, like a parent giving you like a little bath. And then I don't know, she was tugging and yanking stuff out of me. I was like giggling, I could feel it. My body was like crazy, and then I felt so much better. So 11 out of 10, 1100, 11 out of 10.
Thank you so much. That was so nice.
So
I started
everybody
sweating
book
a
your
little
session.
bit.
Run, don't walk.
Thank you.
And go book it. And because the only reason we can have silly goofy time today is because Pam gave me a sink bath
Sing fast.
spiritually.
Oh, well, happy you're feeling
Um,
better
it was
because that
amazing.
was not a
Yes.
fun experience.
Yeah, which I'll
Well,
share.
not the session was great, but
No, the session, the experience
yeah,
of why I was feeling so bad,
yes,
which I'll
yeah,
share about. It's not very silly goofy,
not silly goofy. This is a
but
PSA, a public Sadie announcement.
I have a public Sadie announcement.
Yeah,
I don't really know what the announcement is. Just
keep your
be
eyes open.
keep
Oh,
your
one
eyes
thing I
open.
forgot.
Mm,
Eyes open. Did I tell you that she said I sorry, that just reminded me and I don't know why I didn't write it down. Maybe I didn't say it out loud, but
go.
there was something about keeping your eyes open. Keep your eyes open, keep your
Uh,
eyes open. And then the song by Taylor Swift came into my head, Eyes Open.
yeah,
So I don't know if that's relevant at all, but we can discuss
yeah.
that later.
Well, I mean, do you have anything silly goofy before I share my traumatizing story? Or maybe we should save
Um,
silly goofy for after to bounce back.
yeah, to bounce back. I I don't think I have really anything silly goofy. I just kind of have a like an exciting little thing.
Yes.
I found a place in St. Augustine. That's where I was out of town. I went down just to look at some homes. Very, very excited about it. I'm like my I got approved for it. Now I'm like I just have to sign the lease and I'm like nothing happened between now and me signing the lease. But
Yay!
very excited about that. So that's like one step closer to
Woo!
getting out of Dodge. And
Yes.
I finished my like first major astrology course yesterday that I've been
Oh my
doing for like a
God,
year.
Pam's killing it. Ooh,
Yay. So that was
ooh.
exciting. And I did my first
Yay!
mediumship client today. So that
Look
was
at you
also exciting.
go.
Yeah.
Look at you go. Big, big moves.
Big moves.
Big moves. Big money moves. That's amazing. I'm so excited for you. So you're moving in like a couple weeks.
Um, Probably like 3 weeks.
Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
know I have to pack up my whole house. I'm very stressed about it, but it'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Packing's not great. I do it all the
No.
time. Now it's just, I mean, it's a small amount of stuff. It's different, but it's
Yeah.
like constantly.
You
But
know, you'll know when I've sold my desk because I'll start doing all of our episodes by on my couch.
I love it. Be comfy, be cozy.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh, it's 5:55 on the clock right now.
I did it again where I looked. Sadie's an hour ahead of me.
Oh
And
yeah.
she's always like, oh,
I
look, it's
keep
not.
seeing it though, because I saw 444 when we were doing
Hmm.
our mediumship. And it was like right when Pam said something really profound. I can't remember which thing, but I was like, oh, and it's 444 on the clock right now. Here. Amazing. Okay.
Amazing.
Well, let me tell you a story of me being attacked in broad daylight and nobody helping me.
It's really
I'm
not fun.
okay. You might have seen my stories if you're on Instagram. I'm totally fine. I'm definitely emotionally not great. I mean, I feel a lot better now. I feel much more grounded, but it was definitely like physically I'm okay, basically. Like, I'm fine. But um this could be a really long story. I'm gonna do long story short version. That I was on this group tour. I think too, what's annoying is like, there's only so much you can do to be safe, right? Like,
Yeah.
I went on this tour that's to this really cute little touristy town. It's like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours outside of Medellin. So, like, yeah, the safest thing I can do is go on like a group tour that has like literally 1,000 5-star ratings, like
Yeah.
I don't know what more I can do to be, like safe. It's also broad daylight when this happens. There's tons of people around. But basically what happened was this man who is schizophrenic for sure um started following me around and just saying lots of out of pocket things to me that made no sense. But also some of them kind of did, and that was spooky. like just about how I was magic and whatever, like just like very strange. But he's following me around, and I'm like, please stop following me. I don't want to talk to you. Stop. And I'm being very stern with him. Um, and I'm progressively getting like louder and beginning to yell at him. And I don't really know what to do, so I'm just walking very briskly, um and kind of trying to outpace him, and I'm scanning to see someone from my group, because at this point we had arrived at this little town, had like a little tour together, and then our guide was like, okay, like you have like an hour and a half to just like wander around, grab a coffee, just it's just this beautiful very very everything's very like art everywhere, colorful, so cute. So luckily this happened at the very tail end. I got to enjoy the vast majority of my time there, but I was alone at this point. So I'm walking I'm like power walking around this town. I don't know where to go. I'm just scanning for somebody that I recognize from my group so that I can just go up to them and just I don't know. I don't know what happens after that. I just wanted to find somebody that I recognized or like a police person, you know.
Yeah.
Um because they're they're kind of scattered throughout. Like I had seen them earlier, so I was like, I'm just trying to find someone. I get up back to like the square of the little town where there's the most people. And this is the craziest thing. This was actually really fucking cool, this split moment of what happened. So there was this big black dog that it was like a street dog. I don't know, there was no collar or anything. He was so cute. I had been petting him earlier. He was such a little sweetie pumpkin pie. He had this gray face, so he's just like this like old big dog. He's so cute. Well, I'm briskly walking, okay? I'm still scanning around. This dog is right exactly where he was before when I had pet him like I don't know, like an hour earlier. And this all happened so fast, but I swear it was like I saw this dog become possessed, but in a good way. This dog, like, all of a sudden is like on, you know how dogs go on there, like they kind of like ripple, like they go like,
Yeah.
"Arr,"
Like
like
haunch up.
haunch,
Yeah.
like he haunched up, he starts growling and then barking like, like a, not like a, like an angry, like attack dog bark, like a
Yeah.
scary bark. And I'm noticing this happening. This is all so fast, but this dog is like puffed up, scary bark. And in my peripheral, I'm just going past it. I see the dog like leap in my peripherals at the moment that I feel like I'm being leapt at and arms are around me. This man has jumped towards me and like bear hugged me from behind, like grabbed me. But at the same moment, that dog like literally attacked him. So the man let go very quickly. And then I'm like, I just kind of beeline and I turn back and somebody's like restraining the dog. The dog's going nuts. Like this dog would have like fucked him up if somebody hadn't like grabbed the dog right
Yeah.
away. But then I'm like yelling at the guy. I'm like, don't fucking touch me. Get away from me. I don't know you. Stop following me. And there's just people all around just like,
Just
no,
watching.
nobody's even reacting. Everybody's
Yeah.
just blank stares at me. And I'm like, nobody's gonna help me. I don't know. And I'm in like shock and panic, especially after being grabbed like that.
Yeah.
Like full, not like a tug at my arm, just like full body on body, even though it's like a split second. Like that dog, like I've never so fully experienced like what felt like a guardian angel moment, because I
Yeah.
mean, that was crazy. Like I just saw it all happen, but I can't even describe. Like it was like the coolest thing I've ever seen. Like like I don't know how to describe it. It was incredible. Like that dog
Yeah.
just like
Animated.
changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like the sweetest little chill, sleepy old man dog, and then it just like
It knew.
it makes me emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like when and when it was scary barking, like I wasn't scared. I felt really calm and I didn't know what was about to happen. But like I wasn't flinching from the dog. I like I don't know. I can't even describe it. It was so cool. But then yeah, like nobody in the fucking store is helping me as I'm like trying to like I'm like zigzagging, trying to get away from this guy. And I'm looking around and oh my brother's calling me probably because he saw this story on my um stories. Um, but I'm looking around, nobody's freaking helping me. Nobody's like putting a hand out to like I just like all I want is somebody to just kind of be like, hey man, back off, like that's like
Yeah.
this I mean, then later on that didn't even help. But anyways, so I'm just like walking through. It's a very small town, but I'm like, okay, it's almost time to meet back up. I don't see anyone I know. They're probably all at the buses already. Like it's like 10 minutes until we need to be back there. So I'm like, I'm just gonna go. There's probably at least somebody I know. So I have to go all the way back across town to go to where the tour bus meeting point is. He's following me the whole way. He's continuing to say crazy stuff. I'm trying to walk up close to people just to be near somebody so that if he tries to grab me again, or like maybe somebody will fucking finally help me, but nobody is.
Yeah.
Um, and like I don't know, there's so many things I go, maybe I should have done that, should have done that. But in that moment, I'm just like, I'm just trying to get away. So I make it all the way back to the tour buses and I see these two girls I know that are from my tour. I sat with them at breakfast. We've chit-chatted just a little bit. So I walk up to them and I'm in shock. This is the point where I just start sobbing because I think I can like finally like relax for a hot second because I don't feel alone anymore.
Yeah.
And I go, that guy's following me. He grabbed me. So they immediately kind of like shield me and they're like, you don't know him? I was like, I don't know him. And so they're like, you have to go away. Like, you have to go away. And he's like, I know her. I love her. Da da da. Like, she's making a mistake. She needs to come with me. I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck? And then these two men from the group also come up and so I'm like surrounded, I'm shielded, but this man will still not go away at first. Like he's still there, like talking stuff, and like he finally goes away. And then the police are called. It's so dramatic. I'm just sobbing, crying because I'm just in shock. Like I'm okay, but I'm just in shock.
Yeah.
Like my nervous system is just
Yeah.
fucking
It's like
toast
the
at this
adrenaline
point.
drop, like once it
Yeah, exactly.
releases.
Like I'm just
Yeah.
and I'm like one of the girls had tissues and I'm like I know I'm sobbing right now. I'm really okay. Like I'm not hurt or anything. He
Yeah.
didn't, like he grabbed me inappropriately, but he didn't like like he
Touch
didn't like grab me
touch
somewhere
you. Yeah.
inappropriately. Yeah, like I was like I am okay. Like but yeah, so the police like skirt up on these like motorbikes and stuff. Um, it was like we were in line to go on the tour bus and he's just standing watching like us go on the tour bus. And then I see because there's like two tour buses, so I see him, he's straight and he's just staring like this. So creepy. And like one of the guys is kind of like, stand
Shielding
back
you.
here.
Yeah.
He's kind of like shielding me and he kind of like puts an arm on my shoulder. He's like, you're okay, we got you. So nice. Everyone's so nice. But like I felt so this was so violating and upsetting and it was really jarring for nobody to help me in the town square. But then once I got to that group, like they just kind of like everybody was just so
Yeah.
attentive. But anyway, so there's just this little tunnel I can see him and he's staring me down. But that's when there's like motorbikes roll up on him and he starts like trying to get away. And it was crazy. It was so dramatic. And I don't know what happened after that. I didn't have to give a police statement. Thank God. Really didn't want to deal with that. Um, but that was crazy.
It's crazy.
But then everyone on my tour was so nice and so kind and were like just kept checking it. You good? You good? We went to lunch after that and one of the guys, he's like, like, would you like a beer? Would that make you feel better? I'll buy you a beer. And I was like,
Would you
I
like a
really would like a
picture?
beer. I
Yeah.
really would like a beer
Yeah.
actually. And he bought me a beer and everyone's just kind of like trying to make me laugh. And I think that the funniest thing was this was like because the guy sitting next to me all the first half of the day, we didn't talk at all. But we were probably really close to the same age. I don't really know. But we didn't really talk at all. And then when he got back on the bus, he was like, something happened. He was like, something happened. He was like French. He was
Something.
like, something happened. You look upset. You look mad. Da, da, da. Like what happened? So I told him, and he was in like a
You're
group
like,
of
we.
three. I was like, we. Um, but he was the one that ended up like buying me a beer, and then like we had a boat ride after that, and the three French guys were like, we will sit with you, and they're like, we usually do not like Americans, but you are okay, and like they're in their like French accents, and they're just like, it was
Yeah.
what I needed. They're kind of like making fun of me and shooting the shit, and
Yeah.
like and it was just nice. It was
Just like
just
being
fun.
normal. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because when I got on the boat, I was kind of by myself, and they all came. They're like, "We will hang out with you," and I'm like, but he was so funny. He was like, "You know what they say about the French? We are not very nice. It is true."
It is true. They're really not. And for what reason?
He's like, I am afraid it is true. We are not. But then when they but they were, they were
Yeah.
so sweet. They're like making me laugh on purpose,
Yeah.
but in their own way. And yeah, it was just
That's so
it
funny.
was just fun. And then they invited me out last night, and I was like, I'm not going out. I'm shot. I'm like absolutely exhausted. I slept so much after all
Yeah,
that dramas.
sure.
Um but yeah, I was okay. But yeah, I think
Lot.
the more rattling part was just that nobody did anything at first.
Yeah.
But the dog. But the dog was really cool. That was crazy. So that's why I was not feeling good today.
So,
But Pam gave me a sink bath
a sink bath.
spiritually. Is there
Yeah.
noises out there? What are you looking at?
There was a really loud noise. Sometimes there's like really low helicopters, so I think that's what it
Oh,
was. But then there was a
I
big,
kind of heard something.
um, like it's only a squirrel, but it looked ginormous climbing the tree outside. Like I thought it was like a big bird that
Oh,
landed, but it was a
this is
squirrel.
crazy.
Sorry, I got
Oh, I
distracted.
do have a silly goofy story though.
Well, I'm happy you're okay. Let's start there.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'll be okay.
Yeah. We should
Um,
I just watched Miss Congeniality and let's just give the
mm,
ladies a refresh. Someone
oh
grabs you from
yes.
behind, you sing solar plexus in step, you step on their toe, nose,
Hmm.
groin.
Up, up.
Yeah,
You sing.
you sing. Yeah.
Yes.
I actually watched it
Yes.
yesterday too. That's so funny.
That's crazy. Yeah. So that was fine. It definitely unnerved me. I'm very, I know I tell a lot of stories about how I'm always meeting people and I'm like, but I am very, like, my head's always on a swivel. I'm very attentive
Yeah.
traveling by myself. Like, I really am. And like, yeah, sometimes, but I do have good intuition, I think. And, there wasn't really anything I could have done differently in that situation, I don't think,
I don't think so
in that
either.
moment.
Yeah.
Um, other than just like going up to someone and being like, help me.
Yeah.
Um, but ultimately it was okay. But but silly goofy time and speaking of magic things and manifesting, let's switch the energy here.
Yeah.
But so since I've been in Medellin in Colombia, everyone keeps being like, you have to go out, you have to go out. They have this really famous area that's like just like parties on the street, lots of bars and like whatever. It's in a super safe area.
Yeah.
But I kept being like, I just don't have anybody to go out with, you know.
Yeah.
This is a good story. This is a happy story. We're done with the safety stuff. Don't worry. So I was like, like I don't think I'm gonna end up going out because like I'm not gonna go out and party by myself, like um that's just not safe, even if it's in a really safe neighborhood. And like I don't know, that's not very fun either to like go get
Yeah.
drunk by myself somewhere. Um,
Even here, like if you were home, well,
Yeah.
maybe
So
not at your home,
I was
but
like,
you know.
like, but I can come back. I don't know. My friend's from here. She comes back
Yeah.
here often. Like I can come back. Um, so anyways, but so on Saturday night, I was like, well, my friend recommended this restaurant for dinner, and it was like right next to Provenza, is like the famous like little party neighborhood street.
Okay.
So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go to dinner at the spot, and then it was pretty early. It was like I think I went to dinner at like 6:30 or 7, and so oh my God, it was like the best dinner of my life. It was so good. And then I was walking past Provenza to go home, so I was like, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna like walk up and down it and just like see it. And I was like. I was like, dear universe, if I'm meant to stay out tonight, like have like nice people just like start talking to me.
Yeah.
Um, and whatever. And so I like walk all the way down it, which is like a couple blocks. I walk all the way down it. I'm like, all right, no, nobody's said hi to me, but that's okay. I'll probably just go home. And I loop back up. And right before I'm almost at the end of the street where I'm about to be like, okay, time to go home. The smiliest guy I've ever seen in my life is like hey. And at first I'm kind of like, no, and I start to keep walking, and he's like, go, whatever. So I'm like, okay. And it's just these like two guys, they're Americans, whatever. But I'm like, okay, like he's like super just I can't describe, just like the happiest energy you've ever felt in your life. Like
Yeah.
such a sweetie.
Yeah. Like someone
I'm
on
like,
Molly.
yeah, but he wasn't. He was completely
Okay.
sober. And
Yeah.
I've since seen him in the daytime and he's still exactly
Still
the
like
same.
that.
But anyways, I sit down and I start talking to these two guys, and like I order a drink, they're having dinner or whatever. And he's like I'm starting a cult of like contagious positivity and happiness. He gives me this little smiley button that he's given away like thousands of these apparently all over and whatever, and we're talking whatever, and he's saying all of this stuff about positivity and happiness and whatever, and I'm like, low-key he sounds like me and how I talk. He's so delusionally optimistic and like annoyingly positive.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like looking in the mirror, I'm like, am I this?
Yes.
Is this who I am?
Yes.
Is this what people hear? I'm like,
Yeah.
this is a lot.
Uh-huh. I will tell you right now. Yes.
And he's tall and he's like well, he's kind of ginger, but he's like kind of and I'm like, I feel like I'm just looking at me if I was a boy, and he's just
Yeah.
smile on his face. And then his friend, he's not like short, but this guy's really tall, so he's like the shorter friend, and he's got dark hair, and he's super funny. They're like the cutest best friends I've ever seen in my life. But he's kind of just shaking his head at his very whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is me and Pam if we were boys. I was like, you guys don't understand. I wish Pam was here so you could understand. I'm like, this is literally, I could not emphasize enough how this is me and Pam right now. Like they've got all these like little jokes or whatever. I tell them about silly goofy time. They're like, oh man, that's amazing. They're like so on board with it. The silly goofy. Like I'm like I was just like, I love the universe for just bringing
Yeah.
me my people, and
Yeah.
it also just made me feel like, yeah, because I'm like, my guard's still a little bit up, whatever. I'm with two men, but I'm like, it's like literally me and Pam. It just kind of comforted me.
Yeah. That's so
Um,
funny. I saw that
it
you
was,
had texted me that, but I had gone to bed early because I was leaving the next morning
oh
to
yeah, no,
drive
it's
back home.
fine.
And then I drove home and then I totally forgot
But literally, the guy's Instagram handle is like silly guy and his
his
name,
name.
and I'm like, that is fucking crazy.
That's so funny.
And his friend the whole night was like, because he kept saying something, and I'd be like, I say the same thing, and he'd be like, I feel like you two are like
The same.
weirdly two pieces of a puzzle, the same puzzle or something. And like there's where because we were kind of just walking down the street having some beers at first, and he like picked up a rock. He's like, God, I love rocks like so passionately. And I was like, I carry around like 5 pounds of them. He was like, I did.
Oh my God.
It was just so crazy. So I ended up staying out like all night with them. We were out dancing till like 3 a.m. I think
Oh
I got
my
home around
God.
4. But just had the silliest, goofiest time. It was so fun.
That is so fun. I love that. Can I
Yeah.
tell? Okay, so this is came up with a theory and I actually talked about it with Diana yesterday,
Mm.
very briefly. But because she asked, she was like, "Where is Sadie these days? Like, how is she doing and whatever?" And I was like, "Can I tell you what I was actually thinking about?" I was thinking about this because I had 10 hours of a drive home. So I think about a lot of things.
A lot of stuff.
And I was like, I think, and I'm not saying it's not possible for everybody to experience the thing.
Yeah.
But I have this theory that there are people like you who are able to like go with the flow, have so much fun, be so positive, do all the things. And then there's people like me who I love having fun. I'm very silly. I love laughing. I love like being goofy, but I'm very like on guard all the time. And I
Yeah.
think that's the universe balance. But and then
Mm.
like in the next life, I'm silly goofy and you're the guard dog. You know what I mean? Like I think we just switch off.
Mm.
And I'm just like, that's them. Like then in the next life, the other one will be the silly one. And
Yeah, I
not
love
that we
that.
can't all be silly or like
Can
be
all be silly.
delusional or anything
Yeah.
like that, but sometimes I'm like, I feel like the universe needs people to have like a little bit more of a like not negative, but more like, and not even like guarded, but just like more like do you know what I'm trying to say? Like
Yeah,
more,
like not everybody can be like, wow, all the time.
yeah, yeah. Because we need people to have like to be like, okay, like keep you safe, keep you a little grounded, like keep
So
you
we don't
like
float off into the clouds.
yeah, and like look out for like I can
Yeah.
like I you have people that look out for you
Yeah.
so that you can go crazy and like explore and have
Yeah.
so much fun.
Yeah.
And not that I can't
Yeah.
have so much fun and go explore, but like,
Yeah.
but you know what I mean? That was my theory that I came up with on my 10-hour drive home.
Love
And
it.
in the next life, I was like, Sadie's got me. She could be the boring one.
I used to be, but I also wasn't always this way. I have to
Yeah.
emphasize that so much because I
Yeah.
used to be very just like timid and small and scared. And
But I'm
so,
not like, I'm not like small and scared.
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I'm just more like, this was another thing I was thinking about, and I wanted to make it into an email. But because my mom says that to me all the time. She's always like, you just have to be positive.
No,
Like,
not that I
can't you
think
have
that
more
you are,
fun?
but
Like,
I guess that I was different before is what I'm trying to say.
got it.
Not
I
that you
understand what you're
are
saying.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, not that you are that, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm like, like I think the word like you need the balance of like people who are more
Yeah.
realistic and then like more people who are like
Okay, but this was the craziest
delusional.
thing.
And
I
not in a
ran
bad way.
yeah,
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, I well, one, then today when I was really traumatized and I was scared to leave the house, but I was like, I'm just gonna go to the cafe to work. I gotta get out of the house and whatever. And I was all like in my corner shaking like a little chihuahua. And then silly guy walked in and I was like, great, you can sit here with me and I will feel safe. But
Yeah.
anyways, I was like, he's okay. Imagine me and then turn up the dial by like 100,
I
okay?
couldn't.
It's a lot.
Like I love you. I love you so much. I don't know if I could do more.
I was like, yeah, I was like looking in the mirror. I was like, oh, wow,
I get it.
I could shut my mouth a little bit more often. Oh shit.
You keep knocking that plant too.
Not that
Yeah.
he needed to, but
No.
I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I was like, it was like looking in a mirror.
Yeah.
Um,
That's so funny.
but anyways, I was like, I am, I love asking everybody, but I was like, this man is a cartoon character, okay?
Yeah.
And I was like, I have to know your birth chart. Like,
Yes,
I
of
was like, do
course.
you know your big three? He's like, no. I was like, well, has a woman ever asked you your birth time and location? Do you know that information? He was like, yes, I have that information. I was like, great. Because I know it's a woman that
Yeah.
would have,
Has
if
asked
you would
you. Yeah.
ask you. Yeah.
Yeah.
This man, I can't remember all of it.
Ooh, Sag?
Like, no,
No
I
Sag.
have never seen a birth chart. I said, are you sure that your parents are your parents and they actually just made this up and this is not when you were born because this makes no fucking sense. He had like 8 Capricorn placements, the least silly goofy of
The
all of the.
least silly goof.
He was like
Respectfully.
all Capricorn and that there was no fire in that chart whatsoever. Not one fire placement. I was like, you have to be Leo and Sagittarius
Yeah.
100%. Like I was like, your whole chart is Leo and Sagittarius. Not one fire. I literally was like,
Does
I
he know
don't
his
think you're,
birthday?
I said, I don't think this is when you were born. Because never have I ever. I was
No.
like, you are planting a seed of doubt into my chest of whether astrology is real. This makes no fucking sense. Yeah, very interesting. Don't get it at all.
Interesting. I do know
I might
like
still have it on my phone. Oh, I might still have it on my phone.
a lot of Capricorns that are very silly goofy that do have a lot of fun, but they
Yeah, not
often
that
have
they
other
aren't that.
placements that
Yeah.
kind of like enhance that. I wonder, like,
Oh, I still got it
of
on
course.
my phone. Hold on. Okay. Capricorn, Sun, rising, Mars, Jupiter, and Neptune and Uranus. Uranus. Uranus.
Uranus and Uranus.
Okay, that's not how we said it when we were kids. I feel like everybody changed it because it was a joke.
Yeah.
Okay, there's like an ad popping up. Okay. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Capricorn placements.
Wow.
That's crazy. And
Did he
then
go through something traumatic that he's like, I will just live every day as if?
he moved around a lot as a kid.
Uh,
You just telling everybody this guy's life story. I hope he doesn't listen to this. Is he like, bro, what do you
if so,
that's
we should have them on the podcast. We should just,
Oh, I was gonna say he should be a guest. He started
yeah,
a cult, like a
yeah,
literal cult. We should
yeah.
have him as a guest. And we can grill him and be like, why are you the way that you are? This makes no fucking sense.
Yeah.
Cancer moon, Aquarius, Mercury, and Venus. So I was like, okay,
I was
maybe
gonna say that makes
that's why you
sense.
love everybody so much
Yeah.
because you have a Aquarius,
Venus.
Venus.
And like the Mercury too is just like just communicates in a very like open and kind of crazy way.
Yeah, the only Sagittarius in the chart is Pluto. So no, that doesn't.
When was he born? When is Pluto? What generation?
96.
Oh,
Me
I'm like,
just
what
with all this
generation?
full information on my phone.
We'll bleep this part out.
His home address is his social security number.
His full name. Born in. Parents are 3 brothers, 2 sisters. That was just a random guess.
Anyways, now that we've obsessed over this guy for 30 minutes,
Yeah.
he was a very interesting guy though. I'm like, you're an
I love
anomaly.
that.
You
I
must
love
be
that.
studied by the witches, the
You must be
astrologers.
studied by the witches.
The witches need to know more.
Yeah.
But so fun.
Yeah.
Such a great.
I love
great
that.
friend.
Yeah, we should have him on. I would love to
We should
meet this man. I might be a little overwhelmed, but
you're gonna want to turn the volume down on your phone because his only volume is yelling.
Yeah.
Only yells. And that's and then he'll just probably talk the whole time.
Yeah, we'll ask one question and then 1 hour later we'll be like, okay, thanks.
It was just crazy. He kept using lingo that we would use, but I hadn't said it. He's like, I know I'm gonna be kind of a yapper, and I'm like, we always say that we're yappers. Why did you say that? It was just crazy. And then this was just a cute little. It's just fun how my mom always says hi. But we were walking down the street, and he was like, "Oh, I like that guy's shirt." And then I looked down, and the guy, it's just a plain white shirt, and there's one singular blue butterfly on the shoulder. He didn't even know my mom was dead. Or that I cared about blue butterflies. He just goes, "Oh, I like that guy's shirt."
That is
that
crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mom was like, "Enjoy your night, honey. You're safe.
Yeah.
You're good."
Yeah,
You know?
I've got you.
Yeah. So, anyways, that was really fun. So we'll have him as a guest. I know he'd be down.
That would be amazing, actually.
We can all join the smiley face happy cult. He did a knighting with his little smiley face pen. He was like, or pin, sorry. And it went something like, I promise to spread contagious positivity. I was like, oh, I'm already doing that, bro. No problem. Just stick it on me. I'm the annoyingly positive friend. Don't worry about me. I got you. I'm going to be co-leading this cult before you know it. I already got one of my own. Let's go. Let's combine forces.
Oh my God, I love that. That's so funny.
Me realizing I have smiley faces on my headphones.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was so fun. I made a fun friend.
Good.
And so life always balances out, doesn't it? Sometimes God says, what, you need a little bit of trauma. Life is too good for you right now. We need to ground you, Saints. Bring you back down to earth.
Yeah.
No, just kidding. But now Pam cleared out my energy field and I'll be safe forever.
Exactly.
And when I go to Brazil, I'll be with a friend.
Yeah.
So, or friends. We'll meet more people there, but So that feels good that I won't be alone traveling for much longer.
Yeah, that feels good for me too.
Yeah. Be with a large man.
Yeah,
I'll be safe. Yeah. So,
yeah.
anyways, shall we talk about
Valentine's Day and love
love
magic.
magic? Woo!
Yeah.
How should we, excuse me, start?
Okay, so I have a whole background
Oh yeah, give us the
on.
history because I don't have that.
Okay, so well, let's start. I was gonna start with Saint Valentine, but then I was like, well, okay, so Valentine's Day, February
Mhm.
14th.
Yep.
Actually, this year it also lands on a Venus day,
Venus
so extra
Day.
lovey-dovey magic time.
Yes.
Um, but Saint Valentine, there are actually three that are recognized by the Catholic Church.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't know that either.
You're a bad
Um,
Catholic. Just know about the one.
um, but there's like an argument on like who Valentine's Day is for. What just happened? You keep hitting the plant. Why don't you just scooch it a little bit? That's like the seventh time it's hit you today.
No, that being startled, what I will. I thought it would be cute, but it's really distracting, isn't it? That time, when your water like pops back up
Oh, yes.
at you, that's what happened. It wasn't the
Got it.
plant.
Got it.
That the water just squirted into my eyes.
I just saw you pop back and then the
Whale.
whole plant was moving, so I assumed. Um,
Oh my
but
God.
okay, so people think that maybe it's this one Saint Valentine, and that's why we have Valentine's Day, Saint Valentine's
Yeah.
Day, who was a priest that was during the third century in Rome,
Hmm.
when Emperor Claudius the second decided that
Claude.
single men
Hmm.
were better soldiers than married men. And so he outlawed young men getting married so
Oh,
that they would be better soldiers when they were young. And
interesting.
so Priest Valentine was like, hey, that's like not actually
Not
cool,
cool, bro.
not cool, bro, and
Love.
he defied the emperor and continued with like wedding ceremony.
Ceremonies? Why are you saying ceremonies? What's the other word that you're
Yeah,
combining that with?
wedding ceremonies.
Oh, I was like, are you trying to say matrimony? Ceremonies.
Ceremonies. Um, and when he was found out, he was beheaded, put to death.
I'm starting
I'm
to
gonna
realize I
give,
don't think I ever knew the story of Steve.
yeah, I'm gonna put a little blood trigger warning here for the rest of
Okay.
this story time for
There's
anybody.
blood squirting everywhere.
Then there was another Saint Valentine,
Okay.
who was a bishop.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I don't know what he did, but he also was beheaded. And then there was another Saint Valentine who was killed for attempting to help Christians escape Roman prisons, where they were beaten and tortured. And according to one legend, sorry, I just basically am going to read this whole paragraph.
Yeah.
According to one legend,
Uh-huh.
when Valentine was imprisoned, he actually sent the first Valentine, quote unquote, um, after he fell in love with, it's suspected, his jailer's daughter, who visited him. And before his death, it is alleged that he wrote her a letter signed from your Valentine. And that's where we get that saying. But then he was also beheaded.
Oh.
So basically,
So don't
moral of
name
the
your kid Valentine.
story,
He's gonna lose his head.
I was like, moral of the story, love makes you lose your head.
That is actually true. I'm gonna
Yeah.
go absolutely insane
Um,
for about 3 weeks and then I'm okay again.
that's the Aries moon. Um,
And then like
and the Leo
I'll still
Venus.
be like, into them, but like it's like insanity. I'm like in
Yeah.
a cloud of love dust and I'm like, I can't handle this. And then I'm like, oh no, I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm oh.
um,
Oh no.
this is fine.
And then I'd be turned into a sane person again.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aries moon and Leo stellium. Whew.
Yeah. Um, okay, so also,
Mhm. Also,
Valentine's Day greetings go all the way back to the Middle Ages, which I thought was kind of crazy. And then cards
oh,
began around 1400.
wow.
And the oldest one known today that is still in existence was a poem written in 1415 by Charles, Duke of Orleans. And it was to his wife while he was imprisoned in the Tower of London. Um, and then Valentine's cards really gained popularity in the 18th century. And then by 1840, so, maybe like 150 years later, by the
Mhm.
1840s, Esther A. Howland began selling the first mass-produced Valentines in America.
Wow.
So I thought that was fun. Um, and also, just to get a little witchy,
Hmm.
February 15th was always Lupercalia, which
Mm.
is a Roman, like a pagan ancient Roman festival. And Valentine's Day really like kind of took off because the church was trying to bury the Roman festival because this is also trigger warning for blood because it's kind of gross. Um,
Valentine's Day. Is that why My Bloody Valentine is a thing?
guess so. Um, but February 15th was the date, and it's a fertility festival dedicated, I don't know how to say this correctly, I'm sorry, Faunus,
Mm.
who is the Roman god of like the forest and fields and flocks, as
Mm.
well as Romulus, Romulus, and Remus, which is where we get Remus Lupin. Um,
Also known as Remus Lupin, made me fun.
well, because they were Romulus and Remus were like mothered by a she-wolf.
Mm. Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
and it's basically a whole festival to be naked and drunk and bang and get kind of freaky.
I
Um,
remember there's an episode of um The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina that is
where they talk
Lupercalia.
about it.
And they are like running through the forest. I think they have like sexy lingerie on, but I think they put like wolf masks on or something, if I remember correctly.
Mm,
Or I could be mixing that up with something else I watched, but I'm pretty sure it's Lupercalia and they're like all like they're waiting for like it to be dark. They're all gonna like run through the forest and
yeah,
have a sex time.
basically.
Yeah.
So these like priests would gather in this sacred cave, which is where the infants Romulus and Remus, the founders of Rome, were carried by the she-wolf,
Mm.
and they would sacrifice a goat for fertility and a dog for purification. And then they would take the like hide of the goat and dip it in sacrificial blood. And then they
Mm.
would basically just like go through the streets and like whack young women and the crop fields because it was thought that like this blessed them with like extra fertility.
Oh, so you
It's
wanted to
just
be
like
whacked by
you
it.
wanted to be whacked by the bloody goat hides. And then all the young women would put their names in a jar, and all the young men would pick a name, and you would basically be partnered up for, I read it was for the rest of the festival, then I read it was for the next year. Some of them got married. um,
Uh-huh.
but it was basically like that was your freaky partner. And then
Wow, just pulling names out of a hat.
literally then the festival was deemed unchristian and was outlawed in the 5th century.
Fair
And
enough. Doesn't sound like sounds like a
February,
good time.
February 14th was then declared St. Valentine's Day. And then also to like further punch the stamp on Valentine's Day, in France and England, it was
Mhm.
believed that that was the day that be like the birds mating season began. So it was like this is the time for
Oh,
love and coming together.
that's cute.
Yeah. So that's that's the history on
Wow,
it.
freaky little history.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Not all of that sounded fun, but some of it sounded
Yeah,
fun.
I don't really
Running through
want to
the
get
woods
whacked with
naked?
a
That'd be cool.
bloody goat hide. But
Yeah, I could go without that. And I
yeah.
also don't need extra fertility, not trying
Yeah,
to.
no thanks.
No, thank you.
No thanks.
I would take, well, I don't
Save it
want a
for the
man for
crops.
favor the You can give mine to the crops.
Yeah.
I'm good. I'm good. That is so interesting. I can't believe that all three of the Valentines, Saint Valentines, got beheaded. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess there was a lot of
Or they
beheadings,
were just
very
killed. At
popular.
least that's what I think, that they were beheaded. That's what I found.
Yeah. I
But
thought it was
yeah,
like the
that was, I guess, the
popular
popular
thing to
choice
do.
of, yeah.
So maybe it's not a crazy coincidence. I feel like a lot of saints were martyred, and that was kind of like that was probably like the go-to, I guess.
Yeah.
I wonder what percentage of all saints have been beheaded. I bet it's
Beheaded.
actually very high
I,
because a lot of them, you know, yeah, they were
yeah,
like martyrs. They were
martyred.
killed for their religion or whatever.
Yeah,
Not all of them, but
a lot of them.
I don't know. Something to ask Google later.
I was gonna say, you can Google that. Let me
What percentage
know.
of saints were beheaded? Um, Thank you for the history, Pamela.
Yeah.
Very interesting. Okay, so let's talk about like working
Love
some love magic
magic.
ourselves. So
Yes.
I love magic. If you go to I tell the story? Yeah, I did. The create your own spell episode, I shared the story of my love spell that worked right away.
Hmm.
And I just led a 3-day workshop on love magic. It's called the Love Magnet Makeover. So if you want to have like instant access to all of it, there's the 3-day workshop. There's a bunch of bonuses, but it's basically taking you through an extended love magic ritual. But we're gonna set you up today to be able to like work your own if you want to.
Yeah.
I think one thing that I don't care for in TikTok online manifestation world, and this is me, okay, to each their own, but I don't like the like SP, specific person
Yeah.
manifesting. I don't, I personally would never cast a love spell on a specific person. You hear way too many stories of that shit backfiring. They become obsessed, stalkers, something like that, or
Yeah.
whatever. To me, it's purely because I'm like, I think I know what's best, but I don't. And I don't want to cast a love spell on somebody, bind us together, and miss out on who I was actually
Meant
gonna
for.
meet
Yeah.
and be meant for and whatever. So
Yeah.
I feel like if you want to call this like love magic ethics or something
Yes.
like that,
Yeah.
my I think our personal stand is
Yes.
like
I've
it's
had that
not
too.
to control, manipulate, put power over a specific person. When we say love magic, it's more like using the energy of love, which is one of the like highest frequencies on like the vibrational scale. And it's more of like channeling that through. So when I cast a love spell, it's like tapping into like such a deep love energy, and it can be for self-love, but it also can be tapping into a deep love energy. The heart is it's literally, it's electromagnetic. It's measurable up to like 4 feet away from us. So it's like it's activating that magnetism through, like, it sounds cheesy, but through the power of love. And you can cast a love spell over your whole life. You can
Yeah.
do an attraction spell and call in, the person, experiences, opportunities, etc., that are meant for you. But I think it's most effective and definitely for our highest good when we have a level of surrender to it. And it's like not
Hmm.
on, I want that guy over there to love me. I'm casting it on him, let me get a
Yeah.
lock of his hair. No, no,
Yeah.
no. I mean, do what you want
That's what I
whatever.
had too.
No
You do
judgment,
you. You
but
do you with your
you do you,
practice.
boo.
But
Um, but it's really like the most powerful magic that I've personally like experienced results with. Like every
yeah.
time I'm like, okay, this is a love spell, then I use love energy to cast the spell and manifest. Like, wow, I have like such amazing results. So that's just our our disclaimer, our
Yes.
PSA, our
We'll
Pam
put a
Sadie
big
announcement. This
yeah.
is not love spells on someone specific.
Yeah.
No judgment if you want to do
No
that, but don't
judgment.
ask us for advice on that.
Yeah.
When my love spell went viral on TikTok, my God, I have
My
a
love spell went
thousand
viral.
love spell went viral. I have literally thousands of messages of people being like, "Can you cast a love spell for me on my ex? Can you get my ex?" Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I could be a
First of
fucking
all, they're an
millionaire if
ex
I would have
for a
said yes
reason.
to
Let's
all
start
those
there.
people. I know, I know, and I never once considered it, but I'm just like, if I would have been like, yeah, sure, $100 or whatever,
Yeah.
oh my God, I'd be rolling in the dough, like it would be crazy. I would never do it, but I'm just like, you guys, we have to change the energy and the mindset. In the story itself, I say. By the way, this was a self-love spell. I did not
Yeah.
cast it on my boyfriend at the time. It just resulted in him doing something really romantic? So
Yeah.
just because you don't cast it on someone doesn't mean they're not going to feel the energy. You- They're not going to feel your confidence boost, your magnetism go up,
Right.
and they become attracted to it. But I'm
Exactly.
always like, yo, universe, if this guy isn't meant for me, or if this person isn't meant for me, distract them, get them the fuck out of here. All
Yeah.
good. I'll be sad, but I would rather just not waste my time.
Yeah.
So
No,
when
I
I cast this
literally
love
have,
spell, get rid of them if it's not the one.
yeah, I literally have self-love with one, two, three, four, five, six, seven exclamation points in my notes.
Yeah, this is self-love magic,
Self-love.
self-love spells.
Yeah, just focus on like you being filled with love and it like
Because
pouring out of you
that's such a magnetic energy.
and
Hmm.
attracting love in the highest forms.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I literally I made a post, but I think like the reason I do kind of like move through the world and I end up the vast majority of the time meeting such great people and having like such like magical little experiences is because I really am like, and this is my obnoxious optimism and positivity, but I'm literally walking around just like so in love with everything.
Yeah.
But it's a practice. It's like it's something you have to do on purpose. It's not my natural way of being. You seem
Yeah.
very negative too. So it's like and I'm not always in that energy 100% of the time, but when it's a day where I'm like, I want to make a friend today, or I want to have a magical experience, especially when I'm like, yeah, just like having an exploring day, whatever, I literally will be like, okay, I'm gonna be in love with every leaf on every tree I see. I'm like gonna see the people walking past me on the street and just like not that I'm like I love you to them, but like in my like kind of like energy field, just be like sending love to everybody. And then like when I do that, like like that's love magic right there. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
like beam it out. I'm gonna be like, this is the best cup of coffee I've ever had in my life. This is the best meal I've ever eaten. And I'm just like, wow, in love with everything, but like intentionally on purpose.
Yeah.
Like it's so crazy and it's just like fun to live that way and just be kind
Yeah.
of like obnoxiously, like just filled with joy. I can't do
Yeah.
it every day. But it's like a game to play. Be like, what can I attract? What can I experience when I just get in
Yeah.
this like lovey-dovey in awe of everything I'm like seeing around me as I like try it the next time you have like a day off and maybe even you're running errands, like experiment with this energy and just see if like you can like feel. I mean, people will like look at you, people will just smile at you and be extra nice to you. I did this the other day and I walked to the cafe to work and like I've been there a couple times, but this day that I did this, the girl that checked me out every day was like, you have like she said it in Spanish, but she was like, hello, beautiful. You have the most beautiful eyes I've ever seen. And I was like, that's crazy. She's checked me out like 3 times this week. And
Yeah.
today, when I decided to be
Open.
like open and like be like in that energy, then she's just like
Yeah.
sees me, like she
Yeah.
really like looks at me. And it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
It
I
is
love it.
fun. I'm not saying that I never do it. I just don't often
Yeah.
do it because I don't like being bothered. But I do know that, like, I did it the other day when I was just like walking around downtown in St. Augustine. But then I also noticed that I go straight back to like New York brain. And I'm like, what the fuck are all
Hmm.
these people looking at? The finger starts going, you know what I mean? I'm like, what the fuck do these people want? What are you doing?
Yeah.
Why are you
What are
looking
you,
at
what
me?
are you looking at?
Yeah.
I always
And then I'm
I'll
like,
like
oh yeah, I did this.
I'll do it before I leave the house, and then I'll be like, do I have a booger or something? Everybody's looking
Yeah.
at me. And then I'm like, oh no, it's because I'm radiating love.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
It's a good thing. It's a good
I'm like,
thing.
oh, is there like something on my
I
shirt?
know.
Like,
I'm
I'm
like,
like, I get
am
like
I walking
self-conscious
funny? Yeah.
sometimes.
I did it the other day. I was like, am I walking weird? Like, do I have something on me?
Hey,
Like,
I'm walking here.
it's like, what the fuck are these people looking at?
That's so funny. I do it.
Um,
Yeah.
but it is fun to do sometimes. Oh, I just saw
Yes.
that you texted me.
Oh,
I
I had to
forgot I
switch my
have
laundry really
laundry.
quick
Sorry, I'm getting
before
distracted
this.
by my phone. Um, yeah, also to piggyback off of this, go
Hmm.
listen to our last episode where we talk about glamour magic. The
Yeah.
same kind of vibe where you're like
Yeah.
putting that like energy
Yeah.
out into like changing your like aura of
Yes.
it.
That episode. And then also when we were talking about spell work and like creating
Yeah.
your own spells, like we will talk about love magic today and give some of that. But like I would say listen to this and then listen to that, and you'll have basically have a
Yeah.
whole masterclass on putting together your love
Yeah.
spell.
Exactly.
Um, So, here's some love magic things. So
Yeah.
you can do a love spell any day of the week, but Fridays are ruled by Venus, so
Hmm.
it's an especially yummy, good energy day.
Potent. Yeah.
Potent. Which
Potent.
I said in the beginning, Valentine's Day falls on a Friday this year. How
Yeah.
fun is that?
Yes.
So it's a really, I feel like it's like an extra powerful Venus
Potent.
day.
Yeah.
Um, Also, like you can think about the moon phases. So let's say you want to cast a love spell more focused on like attraction, a new beginning,
Hmm.
something like that. You might want to do it like on the new moon. You don't have to. Or like the Friday nearest to the new moon. Or if it's more of like a love spell of like, gosh, I need to like release this person. I need to cut cords with them. I need to heal. I need to,
Mm.
move on. Something like that's more of a releasing energy. Maybe full moons. Yes, Pam.
I just didn't want to forget. You saying this the day
It's a
before
full
this
moon.
episode comes out is a full moon, but the day that this episode comes out, you'll still be in full moon energy.
Hmm.
So it would be a really great time to do a release if you're trying to release somebody to kind of get even release your own
Yep.
love blocks, release things
Yeah.
about yourself. Um, and then on Friday, the next day, on Valentine's Day, on Venus Day, do that love spell for yourself, kind of like
Hmm.
and like replace that energy
Yep.
that you just
Yeah.
released.
That's actually
Be
what we
really
did
great.
in the Love Magnet Makeover. So if you're like, I don't know
I
how
know
to
we
do
didn't
all
talk
that
about that. I wanted to
stuff.
hear about it.
So it's yeah, well, because you could if you could do this on your own too. You don't have to,
Yeah.
but if you want to, you can buy it like one time and have access to it forever. Or you can just come into the membership and do it. And if you don't want to stay in the membership, that's fine. It's a better deal to just come into the membership for 1 month and cancel. Enjoy a month of all. There's like a bajillion classes, but you can come in and then cancel after. Totally fine by me. Not offended at all. It's only $29,
Yeah.
but we did
29.
3 sessions, 29. But we did 3 sessions. So the first one was a cord cutting so
Mm,
that we could just cut the cords. We thought about people, patterns we've gotten stuck in when it comes to love or just like manifesting in general, but especially relationships. We really like did some deep work. We did a cord cutting ritual with like a candle cord cutting. And then the second day we did this really deep healing activation.
mm,
And then we did this really fun meditation. So we kind of like did this deep, kind of like a little bit emotional, a little like we were kind of exploring the pain in our heart, our heartache. So we did some of that, but then we brought the vibe, we filled up because it's always important when you clear stuff out, fill it back up, like Pam just said. We did this really fun, like up upgrade, activate our,
mm.
enhance our magnetism at the
Yeah.
end of that. And then the third session was a casting our actual love spell. So if you're listening to this the day of and you're like, ooh, I need to do the cord cutting, the releasing part, and you want guidance on it, you can hop in the membership or do the one time and keep access to this forever. So you can use it every Valentine's Day or whenever you want. Really, it
Yeah,
doesn't have to be Valentine's Day. It can be any time of year. Um, but yeah, we did that because
very
it's really
cool.
important. You want to like clear out and make space.
Yeah,
So we're still in full moon energy for Valentine's this year. So it's a great time to do a little cord. And you don't need a whole ritual. You can do a cord cutting meditation and then cast your love spell if you want.
yes,
But great time to do that. Um, yeah. So
yeah,
Fridays are great. Doesn't have to be full moons are great if you have releasing, healing, cord cutting to do, but doesn't have to be. New moons, great for new beginnings, attraction, but it doesn't have to be. It's all
doesn't have to.
flexible. Um, but yeah, so after that,
Yeah,
um, I kind of
I
have it like, oh, I was gonna offer some like I looked up like, well, some of this I just knew, but like flowers,
yeah, yeah,
herbs, spices, crystals. We could talk about like what are really good ones for love magic.
yeah. I was gonna say too, like, do this all the time, but you could really embrace it for this Valentine's Day and just on Valentine's Day in general, but also this one because it's on Venus Day, but also do it all the time anyway. But really, like, think about embracing that, like, Aphrodite energy
Mm.
of knowing, like, she knows what she's fucking worth
Mm-hmm.
and she loves and embraces her body as it is. And I think it's
Mm.
always really important to remember, like, it's shoved down our throats. Not that there's any, it doesn't matter what size you are, but everyone's shoved down our throats that are this big. And not that that's anything
Yeah.
wrong with it, but you don't
No, it's
have
just
to
kind
look
of
like that.
it's coming back around. They
Yeah.
like,
Oh my God, and the low-rise jeans and the boot cuts. What happens when it rains? Did everyone forget?
did we all forget?
Did we all forget what
Did we all
happens when it
forget all
rains?
of our thongs were hanging out and our jeans were all wet? Did we all forget?
But for real, go look at a photo of Lady Aphrodite. She has got curves. She's got rolls.
Hmm.
She's got curves. Every sculpture of her, she's got a roll. She's got curves. She is a thick, batty bitch.
All of the old like Roman Greek
Yes.
sculptures are like luscious, soft,
Yeah.
like roll, like yummy ladies.
Yeah. And I just needed to say that
Yeah. I also that's
as we're doing
actually
like love magic. Like, keep
I
that in
think that's
mind.
a really beautiful piece of why like love magic is so powerful because I think it helps because there's like this balancing between like what makes magic really powerful is that like I think like perfect surrender
Mhm.
aspect. You don't have to be perfect. I mean I'm using that word but I don't mean literally perfect. Of course, there's no such thing. But that like perfect surrender of like when you can get in the love energy, it's like total acceptance of where you are now, whether that's in your body or your job or your whatever. When you can get in that like true love energy, it's like acceptance from of where I am now and not wanting change out of um shame
Yeah.
um
Needing to
or
fit
fear,
something.
guilt, fit into
Yeah.
something. It's wanting change from a place of like love.
Yeah.
And so because we're allowed to like want to change,
Yes.
we're allowed to want to see changes in our body or changes in our life or
Yeah.
and I think like um what I've done so many sessions now in my Freedom Fast Track that I'm working with these amazing women one-on-one and we go through fear and guilt and then we go through shame and scarcity and so on. And we hold so much shame and guilt around, well, I should just be grateful for what I have. It's
Yeah.
bad, it's shameful. I should feel bad for wanting more because there's so many people who have so much less.
Yeah.
And I understand the underlying empathy of what that means, but at the same time, us having less doesn't help anyone. In fact, like, like I mean on a very like literal dramatic scale, like the people who have the most money have the most powerful are have the most power. So like if the witches were the billionaires running the world, do you think we would have world hunger? Do you think we would have
Yeah.
war? Do you think we would have any of these things? No, we wouldn't.
No.
We fucking wouldn't.
No.
And so I think like I think the love magic is so cool because it kind of it helps us like wash away some of the shame and guilt we might experience
Yeah.
around wanting
Wanting
something
more.
more. Like, oh, like I shouldn't um want a different I hate my job, but I should just be grateful for having a job
Yeah.
and having a paycheck. Like, ugh, like yeah, be grateful for the paycheck. You don't have to be grateful for the job that you hate that is draining and
Yeah.
toxic and whatever. You can want something
Exactly.
different. And same thing with
Yeah.
our bodies and same thing with anything. So I think that's such a good point.
Yeah. And suffering is not
Like,
a competition.
right, you suffering doesn't help anybody
My,
else suffer less.
yeah, we were just
Yeah.
talking about stuff in Sadie's body that she's experiencing some pain and
Hmm.
stuff. Her, just because I have a chronic illness doesn't mean that my body pain is more significant than her body pain.
Mm. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We
That
both are
too.
in pain, and that,
The like comparisonitis we
yeah, it
can get, or
doesn't,
like I shouldn't complain because like
yeah,
yeah, that's
there's
big.
people
We
who don't have
do.
this. Okay,
Yeah.
we can have space for that.
Yeah.
And is important, not but. And
Yeah.
have space for yourself and be like, this is hard for me right now and I don't like it.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that I do have
Hmm.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I wish it was different.
Yeah. I remember after my like this would have been the first like year or two after my mom passed away, and I remember my friends were so like careful around me, and they'd start complaining about something, and then they'd be like, "Sorry, sorry, that's
Yeah.
like I shouldn't be complaining. Like you're going through so much." And I'm like, "Bro, that's literally unrelated. You can still complain about work. Like I'm not like."
Yeah.
I think
Shut
like
up
in
about
the
your job.
immediate days
Yeah.
following, I maybe had some I actually this is a funny story. I remember it was like the day after I found out my mom had cancer, and I was at work at Urban Outfitters, and this girl trying to do a return with no receipt, no tag, and I'm like, and she wants cash back,
Yeah,
retail
of course.
workers now. I'm like, sis, I can give you a merchandise credit for the current value. It's on sale now. She's like, she's like, she's crying, and I was like, there are people dying. I ripped her into it, and I felt like it was so unreasonable. It was that was not good on me, but it was
Yeah.
just I laugh at that because I was just it was like the
Yeah.
next day. I had found out the night before. I'm at work. I'm like trying
Yeah.
to process this, and this girl's crying to me about this, and I was just fucking pissed.
Yeah.
It was, but now I feel if I ever saw her and she's like, I would be like, I'm genuinely sorry.
Yeah.
I was, whatever. But that was my like moment of like, you never know when somebody's going through something
Yeah.
really hard because I was a total bitch in it. But we're saying it's not that.
It's not, yeah.
Just made me
But for
think of that
all
because
you know, she could have just found out that she needed
she
that $20 back. Like,
yeah,
you know
she
what I
might
mean?
have yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It was a very like Kim crying when she lost her earring in the ocean and
Kim, there are
Courtney being
people
like, there
dying.
are people die. It was literally
Yeah.
that. It was that. I think it happened before that ever aired, but it was literally my like Kim's lost earring in the ocean moment. I just like yelled at this girl. I was like, there we stop crying.
She's like, I'm lliterally never going in that
And I think
urban
she just was like,
outfitters again.
and she like took it and she like walked out. I was like,
And she went
well, I
crying in
was
her
like,
car.
first of all, there's an option for an email receipt. So if you can't keep your shit together, then get the email receipt if you can't keep track of stuff. Shit pisses me off.
So funny.
But anyways, but I think that's why I love magic. It's so powerful because it puts us in a place of acceptance
Yeah.
of just like it's like when we can tap into that feeling of
Where
love,
we're
we're in
at.
acceptance, we're in peace, we're like, okay,
Yeah.
and this is what I would like to attract. This is what I would like to come next. This is what I would like to manifest. So, it's like that energy of like like when it comes to like relationships, right? That's what we all love. Magic is so much beyond that. But if you're manifesting a relationship, it's like, oh, like that person comes into your life when you forget you're looking anymore, you least expect it or whatever. And it is because you're kind of in that place of love and acceptance that happens a lot. It's not how it
Yeah.
always happens for everybody, but And I do think you don't have to like just totally surrender. I think you should take action if you're ready for that person, you know? But
Yeah.
um it is that energy. Like love magic is that surrender, acceptance, peace, contentment. I'm fulfilled here now. How good can I get?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. What else do I have in here? Before we get to this could be considered kind of, I don't know if this is maybe glamour magic or not. I don't know what's
Mm,
happening. My computer's just freezing. Um, but I wanted to say too, because I always talk about the protection bubble that I put above around
mm,
myself,
mm,
and I know a lot of us do that, but that
mhm,
bubble can have any intention.
mhm.
So that could be part of like your love magic is it can
Yeah.
have your protections and it can have the attraction Sadie was talking about before.
Yeah.
And you can do that whenever.
Yeah. Like
Uh-huh.
whenever, wherever we're meant to
Where-
be together, you'll be there in my heaven. Wherever, wherever. Look, I really tapped into the voice at the end there. That was like a spot on. Should I go to karaoke after
I
this?
think so. Call a silly guy. He would
Oh, silly
definitely
guy.
go.
We're going to karaoke.
He
You know
would
what?
definitely
Actually, this
go.
did come up. I was like, I feel like you're a karaoke guy. He's like, oh no. I was like, what? He's like, but I'll run through the crowd and get everyone hyped. And I was like, you're a hype man. Okay. I will
That's
sing
shocking to
karaoke.
me.
You get the crowd going. I
Yeah.
was shocked.
Yeah.
I'm
Imagine the
telling
other
you,
one that's a karaoke guy.
unpredictable man. Birth chart doesn't make any sense. Doesn't like karaoke, but he's crazy social. He literally was like, it's good for me to be in a country I can't speak the language because I get so distracted by trying to be friends with everybody. I was like, that I cannot relate to. That's not me. That could never be me. I wait for them to come to me. But anyways,
Herbs
oh,
and
I was gonna
stuff?
say the bubble. I
Oh, the
always put
bubble.
out the protection and then I say, but well, I just say like any energy that is like loving energy, that
Yeah.
is energy that is, for my highest good, that's meant for me, whatever, that is allowed through the bubble.
Yes.
I kind of, yeah,
Yes.
I say that.
That's how I
Yeah.
phrase it.
Yeah, exactly. Shall we talk about some things you could gather if you were casting
Mm-hmm.
a love spell?
Yeah.
Okay. I have some suggestions for crystals.
Go for it.
Now, this is not an all-inclusive list,
No.
of course. We would be here all day.
Yes.
Rose quartz is, of
Mm-hmm.
course, an obvious one. I thought I had mine around here.
I just went to go pick mine up and I was like, oh, it's actually not in front of me.
It's on my bedside table, if that makes sense. I actually, when we did the love spell and the love and magnet makeover, I set my intention into because she's shaped like a goddess and it's a rose quartz.
Mm.
But rose quartz is probably the most famous. Rose is in the name. It's pink. Um, it's a very like gentle, loving, I feel like it has like compassionate energy in it. So love rose quartz. Um, Anything like pink or green. Green is the color of
Mm-hmm.
the heart chakra. So like I love green aventurine. That's a great crystal.
Yeah.
Very good for healing, love. Aventurine is also great for manifesting abundance. So you could
Yes.
think of abundance of money, abundance of love, abundance of
Whatever.
joyful experiences, whatever. I love moonstone for love magic. So it's a
Mm.
very feminine, goddessy energy. I feel like it is great for like intuition and just that
Yes.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
feminine goddess energy.
Yeah.
Let's see. I also wrote down I really like jade. I think jade
I was
is
gonna
like
say
good
Jade.
for
Yeah.
Virgos, so
Yeah.
I'm always attracted to it. But jade is green, so but it's great. It's like kind of like a lucky stone, love, abundance, really in any of its forms. It's great for.
Yeah.
Um,
I have a silly story about Jade. So
Tell
I
me.
have a jade heart
Mm,
crystal and um I wanted to give a crystal to Freya, but I couldn't. I was like, I don't know. Like I was in a meditation with her and she showed me it. And I
mm,
searched my whole house, I couldn't find it. I was like, I
Hmm.
don't know where this crystal went. And then literally she was just like, girl, it's literally on the shelf. And it was on the shelf where I started. And I just had completely missed it. I was like, I'm sorry, I can't find it. I can't find it. She was like, no, I want it.
Literally right
So
there.
you're gonna have to find it and give it to me. And then she and then she was like, oh my God, it's literally right here. Can you just
She's like,
grab it, please?
she's like,
So
vibes is
she's got my
right where you
my
left it.
jade heart now.
I love that. That is silly.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a good
Also,
this oh
oh,
go. You
sorry.
go.
No, you
You
go.
go.
Were you gonna say another crystal?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say also citrine
Katrine's my
and
favorite crystal.
aquamarine. Yeah,
Mm.
I have
Mhm.
those. And carnelian.
Oh, I have a carnelian. I have a big carnelian heart in my storage unit. I don't
Mm.
travel with that. It's like 5 pounds on its own, but I love carnelian. I'm reasonable. I love rocks.
I love rocks.
I love them.
Rocks, love them.
Love them. Um, but I was gonna say, um, if you are manifesting partnership or you're doing a spell to maybe enhance like you already have a partnership, but you want to like sweeten and deepen the relationship or enhance the romance or bring passion into it or something, like totally fine. I would say like talk to your partner about it. I don't know. You don't have to, but like again, don't like cast it like on them. Do it about
Yeah.
like the energy between the two of you. Don't like
Yes.
not like
Not
let me tell
on.
you to be more romantic, you know?
Yeah.
Um, but if it has anything to do with partnership, it's great to do the crystals in pairs. So it doesn't have to be like the same exact crystal in the same exact shape.
Hmm.
But if you have two pieces of rose quartz, even if they're like different shapes, then you put them together. So especially if you do like a love altar in your home, which I believe, so if you're standing in the front doorway of your home, the back left
Is money.
is the abundance, and then the back right is the love. That's
Yeah.
where. So you could also do that standing in your bedroom and do like back left, back right. Back right is love. And what I will always do with my love altar is everything's in pairs. So two
Mm.
shells that are kind of a similar shape, two pieces of rose quartz. They're different shapes, but they're the same stone. Put stuff in pairs.
Love that.
All in partnerships or to just either way, I would say, if you're like, no, I'm dead set on being alone, then maybe you don't need pairs. But if you're calling it in, or if you are in partnership and you
Yeah.
just want to keep the love energy like cleansed, clear, sweet, put everything in
Yeah.
pairs
Yeah.
on your love altar.
Love that.
Yeah, I learned that when I worked at the crystal store. She's like, everything needs to be in pairs on a love altar. I was like, that makes perfect sense,
That
actually.
does make sense.
Yeah,
Checks out.
checks out, freaking checks out, man. Um, what about what are some of your favorite like flowers or like things you could find in the kitchen maybe to
Yeah,
use
I
for love
have
magic?
so I wrote out kind of like the one that I would do, and I was like, you can use this as, I haven't used it as a ritual bath, and if you do, just check that, make sure everything that I talk about can actually go into the bathtub and onto your skin.
Oh, sure. Okay.
Disclaimer. Um, but also maybe don't pour the oil down the bathtub.
Mm,
Maybe use something else. But what I like to do is because I like burning things,
same.
is using a pink candle, and I'll either like carve my intentions into the candle or I'll use like a piece of paper or a bay leaf. If I'm using like a big piece of paper, it's usually because I'm writing like a love letter to myself,
Hmm.
and then I like burn the paper. But
Hmm.
I like using olive oil. One because I work with Lady Aphrodite, Greece. It's just their thing. Or you can actually also use avocado oil because it's really great for like love and
Mm,
fertility and like bringing in things like that.
I love that.
Um, but I like to use rose petals, Avi.
Hmm.
And also
Coffee.
lavender because
Hmm.
or like the intention I sent with the lavender is like bring this to me like in a peaceful way, like in
Yeah.
a calm way.
No
It's
dramas.
no drama, especially if I'm like bringing love to myself about something that I'm having a hard time accepting about
Yeah.
myself. I'm like, okay, help me accept this, help me love this about myself in a peaceful way. And then you can also use hibiscus flowers is really good for
Mm.
that. And also, I think it's pronounced Damiana.
Mm, hmm.
But it's an herb really associated with Lady Aphrodite. Um, and you can also use like sugar to kind of like
Hmm.
sweeten it. And then also, I will use this in like whatever spell is like catnip, because it's
Wait, I
attractive.
have a really silly, goofy story about catnip.
Okay, tell us.
Okay, I don't know if I've told you this before, but so me and my friends say this. This is like one of our longest running inside jokes where we go, "Oh, it's like catnip to me." Did I tell you this story?
No.
We go, "Oh, it's like catnip to me because."
Oh no.
Okay, so in high school, one of my friends' boyfriends at the time, he would work with like the special needs students a lot, like because he
Mm,
wanted to go into that like when he was out of school and whatever.
yeah.
So we were always like when we'd go to dinners and stuff, like this one guy that he was like not really a caretaker for, but you just spend time with them, like to like get him out of the house and be social. And I'm not exactly sure like what disability he had, like, but he was so funny and we loved hanging out with him. So he would like come to like dinner with us and stuff, and we
Yeah.
just like have a great time, you know? Um, so he like once in a while he'd be like a little bit inappropriate. And this one he goes, so we're at dinner, okay? It's like it's like the boyfriend, him, and then like us girlfriends. So there's like four or five of us girls, you know? We're at dinner or whatever. And we're kind of quietly eating, you know, when the table gets quiet because everyone's got their food, whatever. And he looks up and he asks this directly to one of my friends. It's not like a table topic, okay? He goes, hey, Juliana, what's your favorite fantasy of a girl?" And we're like, everyone's just like, what? Juliana's not gay. Not even a little bit like me. And this has not been a topic at all of anybody's sexuality at the table. Okay, this is out of nowhere. So he goes, "What's your favorite fantasy of a girl?" And Juli's like, I don't have one." And he goes, "Oh, mine are the girls with who wear those stockings with the holes in them." And we were like fishnets? He was like, "Yeah, they're like catnip to me." And then he just keeps eating. And we all just died laughing. And this, I mean, this is like 15 years ago now, probably maybe more almost. Yeah. This is probably 20 years ago. Oh,
Yeah.
barf. But we still to this day say it because it's so funny and it's such a good thing. I mean, it's such a good thing to say about anything you like. It's like
Yeah.
catnip to me.
That's so funny.
So if you want something to be like catnip to you, use catnip in your spells.
Catnip.
And now we can all say that. Oh, it's like
Yeah,
catnip
it's
to
like
me.
catnip. But yeah, so use those. And then like add crystals and stuff, and you can make it into like a little spell jar that you can carry around with you,
Hmm.
or put it on your love altar, or just do a candle spell, or you could turn it into like a ritual bath. I'm also like what I'm kind of seeing actually in my head as I'm talking about it is like I don't know what of these herbs you could put into a bathtub, but I'm also seeing like adding like a milk bath
Mm.
and
Hmm.
using
Hmm.
like Epsom salts.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I don't know if
usually
you can use
like
those together or not, but that's what I'm seeing in my head right now.
usually based on like just stuff like I always kept on hand for spells. Like usually my love spells would be like pink Himalayan sea salt because the pink color, but like
Yes.
salt is very like protective and cleansing. And then I always kept a huge bag of dried rose petals on hand because I'd get them from this apothecary place, but just because I use them like in every spell, I was like,
Everything.
who
Yeah.
doesn't need love, you know? But that, like dried rose petals, dried lavender, I had like a really great like rose oil that I'd use for stuff. But yeah, like I love like making like a love spell jar to keep on your altar, or like your bedside table is a really nice place for like a self-love jar. Like spell jars are great for like to hold. They're not necessarily like I would say like not necessarily for manifesting. They're more like to like hold energy for you like over time, like protection or like
Yeah.
love. And everyone always asks, well, how long do I keep it? And I'm like, you're just gonna know when it's time
Yeah.
to take it apart. I can't
Yeah.
explain it. I've had spell jars be there for like a year and be like, and then just one day I'm like, time to
Yeah.
time to go. And then you can just recycle, if there's salt in it, don't put it back in the earth. Be mindful of that. But if it's just like uh dried flowers and stuff, you can be mindful of that. But the trash is fine. Um, and on that topic, I always just hold it and like imagine myself pulling any like
Last
energy
bits.
out of it, kind of
Yeah.
like de-magic it.
Yeah.
And then do that. But yeah, I love roses. Another I always liked using I'd always light jasmine incense while
Mm,
doing love magic. Specifically, I love the smell of jasmine. Um and jasmine is a good like loving
yes.
energy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also wrote down roses, hibiscus, you said, lavender. Um, those are the ones I did the most.
Yeah.
And
Love that.
then other stuff that might be in your kitchen. Cinnamon. So cinnamon
Mm-hmm.
can be like it can speed up spells, but it's also for just like passion and
Yeah.
energies.
Yeah.
Passion. Basil
Passion.
is a
Passion or
good
energy.
one.
Energy. That was like one of my favorite songs when they had like the dogs that would do like the do you know what I'm talking about? I
Yes.
need to find one.
But basil's a really great one for
Mm-hmm.
love and like
And luck.
peaceful, happy vibes and luck. Um, Honey or sugar sweeten things up. Um, and then like oils, rose oil, is great. I
Yes.
think like I used to have like I think I used to have like a sandalwood oil or something that said it was like
I
for like
do
love, so
love
that might be one.
sandalwood.
Sandalwood's really yummy.
Yeah.
And then like anything like pink, red, green, because
Yes.
like the
Heart
heart chakra is
space.
green.
Yeah.
Um, so you can like mix and match and have fun. If you have a love altar, like I love like keeping fresh flowers on a love altar. Make sure you keep them fresh, change them out, or
Mm-hmm.
just to toss them when they're done. You don't
Yeah.
want wilting flowers on in your love space, you know?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Yes. That's a good place to start. And you can just look up like what are good ingredients for a love spell. But I would say like the best we talked about this in the like create your own love spell or create your own spell work
Yes.
episode is like it's a creative, intuitive process. And part of what I think makes spells powerful is like you making those choices for yourself. Like, yeah, the first few times, if you want to follow a sort of like a recipe, so to speak, to
Recipe.
kind of
Yeah.
like learn that way, totally cool. But I think it's much more fun and fulfilling and interesting to kind of like see what you're drawn, go open the cupboards and just see what you're drawn to. And even if we didn't say it, pull it out and be like, let me look this up.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be just the energy you need to infuse your love life with, even if it's not
Yeah.
necessarily a love
Love.
ingredient, you
Yeah.
know? So let it
Yeah.
be just like a fun, creative, intuitive. It's a way to like, tap into your intuition and learn to like trust yourself too to do things that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also was thinking, okay, well, I have two things. One, I am like always the single friend, and all my friends always have boyfriends, but also it's like Venus retrograde shadow period, and all my friends are breaking up with their shitty boyfriends, and I'm sorry that you guys are sad, but I'm really excited about it.
They're all listening like,
I don't think any of them listen, but um, I mean, listen, I'm not heartless. I'm sorry that you're sad, but I'll fight him. I don't know if you did you see the video that I made the other day? I'm always so annoyed. They always make the videos about like Aries and they're like they're so
Oh,
aggressive. They
and then
always
all the
want to fight and
texts.
everything. And then I go through my text and I'm like,
You do have a point there.
got me there.
My Aries
Um,
moon isn't really like that.
I think it's because I'm Aries sun, moon,
And
and Mercury. So my
yeah,
words be
yeah,
tough.
yeah, yeah.
But so I'm always the single friend anyway, to circle back before we get too distracted. And what I want to say,
Tangent,
what I want
dude.
to say about that is
Right in the bus too.
you
Sorry,
can
go ahead.
still do Valentine's Day and you can still do love magic. Like we were just saying, it's self-love stuff. Take yourself on a date, buy yourself the flowers,
Hmm.
do things that like you enjoy doing, like make it a you date. I know it's like on a school day, but
Because we're all in our 30s in school.
it's a school night, it's a school day.
Oh, it's
But
not a school night.
for that night,
Burning
well, it's not a
night.
school. Oh yeah, you said it's not a school night. That night, like for me, I'm gonna be going to Barnes and Noble.
Hell yeah.
Although I probably shouldn't
I,
because I'm moving and I don't need to move more books.
yeah.
I've packed up all my books. There's like 6 boxes. But
Yeah, that's my storage
um,
unit back in LA is like 75% books.
yeah. But anyway, so I felt like that was important to say. Also, one thing to add to your date night with yourself
Hmm.
or even with your partner is I think it's also a really good time to like journal or even pull some cards on
Mm.
what love means to you. Like, what
Yeah.
does love mean to you? Like, it doesn't have to mean what like society is like, this is what a relationship looks like. This is what
Yeah.
self-love looks like. What does it mean to you? Like, what do you need from love? How do
Hmm.
you like to show love? How do you need to be shown love? And like where in your life and how can you in your life create more love for yourself
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
create more space for love? These are
Hmm.
all things that you could pull cards
Yeah.
on too.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. And I love earlier you mentioned like that you write a love letter. That's what we did in the Love
Yeah,
Magnet Makeover at the end. We wrote a love letter and we read it out loud to our candle and imagined those words and those declarations going into that flame and
love
like
that.
sending out. So like yeah, like you can use love magic to like really manifest in every area of your life. Like I mean, I would dare to say every spell that I cast is a love spell because I like that's kind of how I tap into
Hmm.
and it sounds kind of silly. So one thing with spells that we talked about in the other episode is like the feeling and the emotion. Like you'll hear a lot with manifestation, like, oh, you have to get in the energy if it's already done, whatever. So with the love spell, you want to stir up like true like love feeling like in your body. So my way of doing this, it sounds silly, but it works. I think of Boo, my cat.
I think you
And
did
I
talk
just
about this.
picture
Yeah.
her
Yeah.
and I picture her like purring on my chest. And when I just feel that like pure love energy. And
Yeah.
so I feel like pets are a good option because sometimes
Hmm.
with people, like we can like love them unconditionally and so much, but sometimes there can be like
Well,
resentments or things
yeah.
there, right? So if there's, or it can literally, like you could think of your favorite book,
Yeah.
you could think of just like that friend who always has your back.
Yeah.
You could think of your partner, you could think of your child, you could think of like anyone or anything, and it could be completely unrelated to the spell. But like that's how I'll like bring that love into my body is like I'll just sit there and think of Boo purring on my chest and I'll like live that momentarily and then I'll be like, okay, now I'm gonna expand that feeling outside of me. And that's like how I become super fucking magnetic. And then I
Mm.
cast the spell. So that's my other love spell tip is like, do whatever works for you to visualize, imagine. It might be a specific memory as a child or even recent memory where you just felt really loved. Maybe it's like when your partner brought you home flowers for no reason and just said something really sweet. You can revisit that specific memory to
Yeah.
bring up that feeling, right? Somewhere where you just felt at like perfect love and peace. Mine's when my cat's purring on my chest, might be something else, but that's also one of my best love tips. And you can just do that for a meditation in the morning too, to tap into that magnetic love energy.
Yeah.
But that's a great way to kick off a love spell, is
Love
to
that.
tap into that feeling of love.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Love it.
Hmm.
Love, love.
Love, love. So yeah, if you're like, okay, I'm ready to put my love spell together now, you can go listen to our other episode about putting together a spell. That would be really helpful. But remember, the most important thing is like tapping into the feeling and the emotion and your intention. So other than that, go nuts, be creative, enjoy it, have fun.
Yay.
Yay! Love magic.
Hooray.
Hooray.
I think
Well,
that's it.
happy Valentine's Day, giggly witches.
Yeah, happy
Have
Lupercalia.
happy
You're gonna
Lupercalia. Go
get
run naked in the woods. Go
yeah,
nuts.
go crazy.
Nobody get beheaded. Be
Freaky. Yeah,
careful out
nobody.
there.
Yeah, be careful out there.
Watch yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's our love magic episode. Thank you so much for tuning in every week. We just have so much fun making this podcast, and we're just so grateful for all of our listeners. So thank you.
Yeah.
Make sure wherever you like to tune in, you are subscribed. We're on YouTube if you like video versions. And we're also on Apple and Spotify.
Mhm.
And leave a review if you're on Apple or Spotify. It really helps us pop up in the algorithm for other giggly witches to find us, and we really
Yeah.
appreciate it. And so we're just so grateful for all of that. We're also on Instagram and TikTok at Giggly
Yes.
Witches. Find us everywhere, Giggly Witches.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. New episodes every Thursday. We are going to be taking a hiatus the like first part of March, but we'll be
Yeah.
back after a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Pam's moving. I'm going to Carnival and party. So, oh, you know,
Yeah. It's
life
just
is
a break.
happening. It's
Just
just
we're on a break.
on a break. So don't panic when you don't
End
hear
of
us for a
season
couple
1.
weeks. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Don't panic when we disappear for a couple weeks. We'll be back. So
Yeah.
I'm Sadie. You can follow me at I am Sadie Olson. I have a free scripting guide, like I mentioned throughout the episode. I have the Love Magnet Makeover, which is completely included inside of my membership, which was previously known as the Hot Witch Scripting Club, but we do so much more than scripting. So now we're just gonna call it the Coven. Easy,
Yeah.
simple. We meet
Love it.
live once a month. I post inspiration and vibes in our Telegram chat a couple times a week. And you have like a huge library. There's hours and hours of intuition development um, classes for you. There's abundance and money magic. There's the love magnet makeover, a bunch of love magic for you. There's so much stuff. So this month's theme has been love. Next month we're gonna do money march, and we're gonna
Mm.
manifest some motherfucking money. We're gonna do abundance magic together. We're gonna do my famous rich witch money manifestation tapping challenge together throughout the month of March. It's gonna be really fucking fun. So now's a great time to get into the membership. It's only $29 a month. Or if you want the Love Magnet Makeover, just one-time purchase, keep it forever, you can do that too. So all my links are in the show notes. And Pam's got her mediumship development stuff going on. So
Yeah.
I told you, get in on there. So tell us, Pam, what you got? Where do we find you? What do we do?
I am Velvet Snake Oracle on TikTok and Instagram. I've been really bad at posting, but I'm trying to be better about it, which, well, honestly, if we're being real, I'll probably fall off again once I start moving. Sorry.
That's okay.
Um, but what I've got going on right now is I am starting accepting mediumship clients with Sadie as my
Mhm.
tester child
So
in her
good.
sink bath. Um,
Not emphasize
and
enough how wonderful that was.
so yeah, I'm really, really excited about it. As I like continue to learn and develop this like connection with spirit. They'll be like really, really low priced.
Mhm.
Um, I think by the time this comes out, I think I'm gonna start talking about it tomorrow into the public, into Gen Pop. But um I'll probably take, I'm gonna do what Sadie told me, like that you did was like, every 5
Yep.
sessions, like increase the price a little bit.
Just a little
Uh,
bit, yeah.
a
Get your
little bit.
experience in.
Yeah.
Hmm
So we'll start there. And I really am so excited to connect with all of you guys. And then once I finish like part 2 of my astrology course, which is going to be really soon, really, really soon. I know I've been talking about this for so long, but it's really soon. Then I'll start taking tester clients, and then I'll make Sadie to be a guinea pig for me for the
And
first
then
time.
we'll have a silly guy on the podcast and
And
figure
we'll
out
have,
what the fuck is
yeah,
going
what's
on with
going on
him.
with him. I wonder if like his planets are in retrograde or something. Um,
Yeah, I'm like, you seem like the exact opposite of what I would expect this
yeah,
chart to be, but okay.
but
Go
yeah,
off.
so we'll do things like that and get more mediumship, get astrology out there. I'm trying to decide. I know I said I wasn't going to do it, but I just trying to decide if maybe I will start doing mini tarot readings again, TBD.
Mhm.
But we'll see. That's what I got. And that's
Yay!
that's me. Also,
Woo! Oh, apparently.
apparently, I don't know. Okay, so this is something that I really want to do. I'm still trying to
Okay,
figure out the logistics and whether or not I have the time, space, and mental capacity for it.
sure.
But if enough people are interested, then I really want to figure it out. But I really kind of want to have like a witchy book club.
We did that a million years ago back in Goddess Hangs Day
Really?
in our Discord, like so long ago, and it fell
Yeah.
off after a while because we had like lots of chats and stuff. But it was really
Yeah.
fun. It was
I
really
really
cool.
would love that. And we can do like any kind of spiritual books. I really would love to read more books on Mary Magdalene. Um,
Mm.
or if everybody's down, we could do some like cool. I really love reading fantasy and romantasy. So if everybody's into that, I'm trying to get Sadie to read the Akatar series, but
I have to
she needs
clear
the
my
time
schedule
for
for
it.
that
Yeah, she needs the time for it.
because I know that I will not eat, sleep,
Breathe.
breathe, drink water, go to the
Just do
bathroom.
Fourth Wing because right now there's only 3 books.
Yeah, I could get through that pretty fast.
Yeah.
It will take me a day per book. Like I can read
Oh,
when
no,
I'm
I
in
read
it.
Fourth Wing in 24 hours and then I read
Yeah.
Iron Flame in 24 hours. Onyx
Yeah.
Storm took me a little bit longer, but I think I didn't realize until after I finished the book that how bad my brain fog was, like how bad my
Mhm.
symptoms were at the time. Because
Yeah.
then I started talking to my friend about it who finished it before me, and I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I didn't remember any of the book. I don't remember the book. I keep seeing memes on it, and I'm like, I don't
You're
remember
like,
this happening.
what?
So I need to do a reread. But
Yeah. Yeah.
but yeah, so let me know if you
Book
guys would be
club.
interested in book club. I might just do a poll tomorrow on my Instagram stories.
Do
I
it.
have some funny names.
Ooh.
Um, so actually should I just do it now? I asked
Give
my
it to
brothers, if you had a witchy book club, would you name it Bewitched and Bookish,
Love.
Words of Witchdom? Shout
Love.
out to my friend Aubrey for coming up with that one. Um, or Cauldron Chronicles.
Ooh.
And then my brother, shout out Andrew, was like, I like Cauldron Chronicles, but it sounds like a collection of short stories more than a club. And he was like, how about Tomes
Yeah.
and Tales? I was like, that's so good.
That's
So
cute.
those are the 4 options. But
I love it.
at least right now, unless
I love it.
somebody has a really good name that I can steal. But
I
anyways,
love it. Ooh,
that's
it's
what's
pretty on.
new with
Excuse
me.
me.
Well, that energy work makes you sleepy. So
I know.
yeah.
I'm gonna order pizza and go to bed. And book
Okay.
some Brazil stuff and then go to bed.
Yeah.
Thank you, Giggly Witches. We will see you next week. Woo! Bye.
Bye.